Well, welcome back to Rock Live. We're here at Automation Fair. I'm Beth Parkinson, Director of Customer Insights here at Rockwell Automation. I'm excited to have Keith Higgins here. He's our new Vice President of Digital Transformation Marketing. So my first question to you in the audience, digital transformation, industrial IoT, are you still exploring? Do you know what it is? Are you already driving significant business outcomes for your organization? So Keith, we're going to talk about digital transformation in industrial IoT right now. My question to you, your first automation fair, I know you've been talking to media, analysts, customers the last couple days. What's your thought? What are you talking about?
Well, the first word that comes to mind for me is inflection point. You know, we've been talking about digital transformation for many years. We have over 19,000 attendees at the show this week.
I know, I think it's like maybe even over 20 now. It's crazy.
It's crazy. So I think you're starting to see people have moved to full-scale production. They've moved to rollouts. They're thinking about how to address the highest value business cases. They understand that now, and they're moving to production. And most of the questions we've been getting on the floor, most of the questions we've been getting from analysts and even the media are, as you now move to wide-scale rollout, what are you seeing? Because a couple of years ago we were talking about how do I get started. So very different conversation this year.
Yeah, I know we recently did our second digital transformation and industry study, and we've been tracking where people are in the journey, whether it be really in exploration, planning, into implementation, post-implementation. And this year I thought it was really cool. I would say about 50% of the folks have moved into that more implementation stage, with actually probably a third of them saying they're already doing continuous improvement in certain initiatives. So definitely seeing a progression from that early stage that we were in a couple years ago.
Yes, absolutely. And I think one of the things that we're talking again a lot about at the show today is Innovation Suite.
So here's my quick question for you.
Yes.
For those of you in the audience, I mean, Rockwell announced the relationship with PTC about a year ago, and there's been tremendous progress. And one of them was a new offering called Innovation Suite. There might be some people who aren't that familiar with it. Can you talk about what the relationship is and a little bit more about Innovation Suite?
The conversation a couple of years ago about how to get started really was, I'd like an integrated set of capabilities that was right-sized by my scale requirements and had vertical tailoring specific to my industry.
Yeah.
And they were really looking for three elements in that suite. The first element was what people call manufacturing execution systems, production management, as some people know it. The second piece of that was analytics. We know we can get a lot of insights if we look at our data, we just have to find the right data.
Yeah, it's been almost the story related, industrial IoT for sure, analytics is key, top of mind. And the third said was?
And then the third piece really is the industrial IoT platform, because there was really no solution that tightly integrated those three pieces into a software suite that was easily digestible regardless of where you were as a customer in your digital journey.
Yeah, so how are customers reacting to it? I mean, I think you guys just did an announcement about the progress you've made with customer growth. Are people really excited about it? I mean, to get a new product to market within a year between two companies isn't easy, but you've actually seen customer adoption.
We have. So we put out a press release last week announcing the momentum that's been achieved between Rockwell and PTC with Innovation Suite. It really covered three dimensions. The first and most important one was customer traction. We've signed over 100 joint customers in a year.
That's amazing.
Which, if you know the pace of digital transformation procurement cycles, that's a pretty big number. The second piece, and we may talk more about this later, is the integration. People are very excited about the tangible straight lines we've been able to draw between control and automation infrastructure and the industrial IoT gateway infrastructure, because that's what really makes scale go much, much faster. And then the third piece we talked about was all the industry recognition, the awards, the analyst reports. Again, a week ago we put out a Gartner Magic Quadrant report showing us in the top execution spot in the Leaders Quadrant. So a lot of good recognition for both companies for the Innovation Suite platform.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you mentioned the integration, kind of ITOT integration. I know one of the things in our recent study that was highlighted in terms of challenges across people, whether they were in early stage of planning, implementation, or post-implementation, a couple of the top areas were, one, the ability to execute, and I think a lot of that is about the people side of it. And two, the challenge of integrating legacy systems. You know, people in our world, they're not going to do rip and replace to do in their existing operations. So I think some of the work you've done related to Innovation Suite is helping both on the people side as well as the technology side. Can you talk about some of the ITOT dynamics that you're seeing?
Yeah, so everyone's talked a long time about the OT, IT worlds coming together, and everyone's tried to crystallize the 3 or 4 hotspots that matter most to customers. as they ramp out these initiatives. And so the first one is discovery of that legacy infrastructure. People have had control automation there for a while. As you bring in a new system, you'd like to turn it on and have it automatically kind of find out what's there without having to manually provision. We call that smart tags.
Okay, so and leverage the data that already is in the existing assets.
That's right, that's right. And to that point, the second area is the sharing of data models. You want to be able to have a data model go with all of its great context and rich OT understanding into these new layers of IT infrastructure like industrial IoT gateways. The third thing that you can do is you can generate some new insights if you combine analytics from both sides of the fence, if you will, both the IT and OT sides, so you get some great new analytical capabilities. And the final one, which is really most exciting today in a lot of areas, is the ability to integrate tightly OT data with augmented reality, and that's got a lot of use cases today.
Oh, totally. I know one of the top use cases that were brought up, especially in the consumer space, was workforce productivity. And I think even on the show floor right now, we're showing real applications of how AR is being used in the industrial space. You want to tell our audience a little bit about what we're showing and how customers are starting to use augmented reality to really support their workers?
Well, one of the best examples is the ability to literally video a procedure. And you can wear an augmented reality headset, you can perform a procedure from an expert, somebody who's been with the firm 30 years. I think there was a statistic recently that 25% of the manufacturing personnel is 55 or older today. So there's worry of a labor shortage, worry of cross-training. And then the ability for that recording to be replayed basically in a headset of a new person, and they can exactly follow what's on the screen right down to the machine level with great precision with very little training.
Yeah, I think that's huge, really, the skills shortage that people talk about in the manufacturing industrial space. In a lot of cases, people are struggling getting people into factories, facilities that are industrial, and that the brain drain of people leaving the market. This expert capture, I think, is a great example of a use case. And leveraging the AR environment also is exciting for some of the workers too, especially folks coming in. They're seeing some of this new technology they're using in their consumer lives, and it's actually getting applied in business. I actually think some of this is going to help bring new folks into manufacturing. AR, VR, robotics,
no question.
One of the things,
one of the things we helped a customer with very recently was their recruitment efforts, and they were showcasing the digitally connected new worker as a way to recruit candidates. So exactly to your point,
I think that's
cool
pretty
technology.
Cool. Well, hey, I know we're going to be wrapping up soon. What do you want to see next year? What are you most excited about?
I personally think the year ahead, as I sometimes joke, edge is the new cloud. Right? Edge is where a lot of investment, a lot of activity, a lot of integration work is doing, and in complete complement to the cloud. We're very close partners with Microsoft Azure, as a lot of people know. The cloud plays an absolutely critical role. This is not anything but complementing it with the best of the edge in combination with the cloud for digital transformation. So I think it's the year of the edge. It's a year where a lot of this comes together. It's a year where people start to be able to really talk about the business results generated as these things move to multiple sites in full scale on really the two dimensions we always talk about, which is how do we help customers innovate faster, and how do we help them get to the next level of productivity.
Yeah, I think that's super exciting. We actually talked yesterday about edge computing and how we're just at the tipping point of that being something that can really get adopted, that making decisions really where you need to make them. It's about scalable computing. So, well, Keith, I want to say thank you so much for joining me today, and thank all of you. It's been great having you here at Rock Live. Keep watching. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.